Africa, a beautiful, richly endowed land brimming with vitality. Here lies the secret of human origins, and it is also a fertile land of hope in the 21st century. In March 2013, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited here. Xi put forward the principles of China's Africa policy: sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith, ushering in a new era of China-Africa friendship.
无论中国发展到哪一步，中国永远都把非洲国家当作自己的患难之交。
52-year-old Beitendo Alain makes a living by planting pineapples and bananas. Today, he's going to a nearby market to buy daily necessities.
Pour faire transporter la marchandise, c'était très difficile vraiment. Pour amener ça à point, on pouvait dormir dans la route moins 4 jours, 5 jours, une semaine aussi.
Malele is situated between Brazzaville, the country's capital, and the economic hub of Pointe Noire. The old road linking the two cities had fallen into disrepair. Building a new highway had been a long-held dream of the Congolese people.
Premièrement, Brazzaville et Pointe Noire constituent les deux plus grandes villes de notre pays. Et puis ensuite, les différents plans ont toujours projeté la construction de cette route.
However, between the two cities lies the Mayombe forest, considered by the locals as an impassable barrier for building a road. What they didn't expect was that hope would come from a distant Chinese city. In 1982, Changsha and Brazzaville became the first pair of sister cities between China and Africa. In 2006, as the summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation was held in Beijing, China and the Republic of the Congo agreed to reconstruct the road between Brazzaville and Pointe Noire. In 2008, Wei Rong went from Changsha to Brazzaville to join the construction of the #1 national highway in the Republic of the Congo.
港口部提出石头，气温高，雨水多，石头大，全源马云贝原始森林是最大的难点。
Despite all the challenges, construction of the #1 national highway was completed in March 2016, cutting the travel time between the two cities from a week to 6 hours. After shopping, Beitendo took the highway and arrived home soon.
On a eu l'avantage de venir concevoir du goudron, on a eu l'avantage aussi de l'amener de notre activité à 4 km. On travaille d'abord à 4 km du goudron. Mais lorsqu'on a vu le goudron, on est proche du goudron, on a fait sortir le goudron. Car en fait, sans vous, nous aussi ne devrions être rien.
原本因运输不便出现困难的香蕉、木瓜、牛油果等农产品，现在可以通过公路快速运输到港口，畅销世界各地。
To express respect and gratitude to the builders, locals erected a statue named Mountain Splitter in Dolisi, the third largest city where the highway passes.
Je parlerai beaucoup plus de la coopération entre la Chine et le Congo, que la capitale du Congo soit jumelée à une ville de Chine, c'est une très bonne chose. Il y a eu beaucoup d'autres infrastructures construites sur la base de cette coopération. Et d'ailleurs, certains projets sont encore en cours.
The story of Changsha and Brazzaville is just one example of the over 160 pairs of sister city relationships between China and Africa. China is the world's largest developing country, and Africa is the continent with the largest number of developing countries. The friendly exchanges between China and Africa date back a long time. In 2013, Xi Jinping included Africa in the itinerary of his first overseas visit after assuming the presidency. he vowed that China would always be a reliable friend and sincere partner of Africa, stressing that China and Africa have always been a community of shared destinies. To date, Xi has visited Africa 5 times as president. Under the strategic guidance of head of state diplomacy, political mutual trust between China and Africa has been deepening continuously, and China-Africa cooperation at the local level is flourishing. China and Africa have been working together in good and hard times and have forged unbreakable fraternity. In the cassava experimental field at the National Nanfan Research Institute, Nigerian student Ijiti Oluwole Gregory and his mentor Chen Qing are harvesting a new cassava variety.
今天看到这个品种呢，是一个呢具有非常优质的那个良好的一个食用木质品种。
Cassava is the 6th most important food crop in terms of global annual production. Gregory's home country of Nigeria is the world's largest cassava producer by harvested area.
木薯呢，在他们国家呢是主粮，就是说就跟我们国家的那个水稻啊，就是还有那个小麦一样，就是具有不可替代的地域和作用。
In Nigeria, for example, one of the challenges of cassava production is first, we have the issues of the technical know-how, challenges like pest infestation and diseases, droughts. So we have a lot of micro farms. But now imagine if we can move this production of cassava from a micro stage to a larger scale.
As a key raw material for the starch industry, cassava is also important for China, the world's largest cassava consumer. The country accounts for 75% of world cassava imports.
It's a win-win situation for both China and Nigeria, because China is giving Nigeria the initial funds to be able to produce, and then Nigeria is producing well to be able to give back to China the products.
Over the years, the Chinese Academy of Tropical Agricultural Sciences has cooperated with major cassava-producing countries in Africa to promote production and develop better varieties. In July 2023, Gregory came to Hainan to research green and integrated approaches for managing cassava pests.
尼日利亚的这个那个学生过来了，我就会针对他们国家实际的需求，我们有很多优良的品种，都可以引进到他们国家呢，去推广应用，提高他们整个木薯的单位面积的产量，是有很大的帮助的。
This type of experience that I'm gaining here in China under Professor Chen is very important. So learning things from China is what is going to help countries like Nigeria to upscale their production. You know, from a micro level to a larger scale.
Gregory hopes to bring what he has learned in China back to Nigeria, contributing his efforts to advancing local agricultural development. In recent years, agricultural cooperation between China and Africa has flourished under the frameworks of the FOCAC and the Belt and Road Initiative. At the China-Africa Leaders Dialogue in August 2023, President Xi Jinping announced 3 proposals, including launching the plan for China supporting Africa's agricultural modernization to help Africa bring its integration and modernization into a fast track. In the new era, China and Africa have entered a fast track in building the China-Africa community with a shared future. By advancing 10 cooperation plans, 8 major initiatives, and 9 programs, China and Africa have seen economic and trade cooperation expanding rapidly in scale and extent. China has remained Africa's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years. The structure of China-Africa trade also keeps improving. China is the largest developing country investing in Africa. Through joint efforts, China-Africa economic and trade cooperation has continued to scale new heights with deepened win-win cooperation. 25-year-old Henok Emmanuel Imiru studies at Gimbi Polytechnic College in Ethiopia. Not long ago, he earned the opportunity to compete in the second Belt and Road International Skills Competition in Chongqing, China. To hone his skills for the competition, Henok sought advice from Jiang Jiang, the Chinese head of the Ethiopian Luban workshop.
When I saw myself with my competitor, there's some gaps in me because of there's lack of training in our country.
劳动和技能部告诉他这里有一个鲁班工坊，在这里有非常好的这样一个培训条件。目前在埃塞全国只有我们鲁班工坊可以达到这样的一个比赛标准。
The Luban workshops exemplify the expanding China-Africa cooperation on talent development in recent years. During the 8th Ministerial Conference of the FOCAC in 2021, China announced 9 cooperation programs that it planned to jointly implement with African countries over the next 3 years, one of them being the Capacity Building Program. China also pledged to continue to work with African countries to set up Luban workshops. The Luban workshop in Ethiopia was inaugurated in 2021. It offers specialized courses in industrial robotics technology, mechatronics technology, industrial control technology, and industrial sensor technology. Henok received professional training here.
In international competition, first we need to fix here. When this box fix here, right? All of them, there's a different movable fixed hole. First we found this hole and fix here.
When I told him all of my problem, he's willingly to open myself to me, and also the Luba workshop is open for me, so that's why I can practicing.
To better prepare Henok for the competition, Jiang invited him to Tianjin, China for further training.
What's your
Now I'm ready. I will arrive to Tianjin.
我们这次要在重庆进行的比赛呢，参加的是电气装置安装这么样一个项目。那么这个项目呢，现在涉及到很多这个智能控制设备。我们这里的设备是非常的先进的。
As the competition drew near, Jiang accompanied Henok to Chongqing. The Belt and Road International Skills Competition is an international vocational skills competition held by China for the countries involved in the Belt and Road Initiative. The second edition of the event, held in June 2024, drew 190 skilled competitors from 61 countries and regions. In this competition, Henok ranked 9th among all participants and 1st in the African region.
I'm really grateful and I'm so a feeling of enjoyment.
汉诺克这次的表现是大大出乎我的意料的，他在很短的时间里面实现了对自己的一个很大的突破。
In July 2024, Henok was admitted to the Luban workshop. Over the years, China-Africa cooperation on social development has been growing. China is promoting cooperation with Africa in social fields such as poverty reduction, health, and education. through strengthening exchanges, providing assistance, and sharing experience. China is helping African countries to improve their comprehensive social development, which then provides internal impetus for their economic growth. Baringo County in Kenya is home to a great many Paleolithic sites, which hold significant value for exploring the origins of early and modern humans. Job Kabii, a senior research scientist at the National Museums of Kenya, has been engaged in archaeology for 25 years.
To be the custodian of paleontological and archaeological heritage in Kenya. We can reconstruct how our ancestors, how was it possible for them to adapt and evolve into the next species.
Kabii's bond with China began in 2017.
My colleagues in South Africa told me that their colleagues in China want to collaborate in investigating the story of human beings in various parts of Kenya. So their interest was also lining with what my interests were.
In the same year, Zhao Jingpo, an archaeologist from China's Hunan, traveled to Kenya with a Chinese team for a collaborative archaeological project.
人类起源和现代人起源是目前学术界比较热点的一些重要话题。肯尼亚呢，它本身就是人类起源的一个重要地区。我们这个中肯旧石器联合考古项目呢，目的呢就是调查距今30万年到10万年这个阶段中期遗址和我们中国中期遗址呢进行一个对比研究。放这个 ，maybe something wrong。那个边有加工的，假如真加工了，它加工这么好呢，更少。所以咱要再统计一些东西。
In 2023, the China-Kenya joint team made significant discoveries at a site near Lake Bogoria.
这次在这个地层里边发现了非常明确的勒瓦罗瓦技术制作的石制品，出土的将近200多件这个石制品吧，其中这个勒瓦罗瓦技术制作的石器呢，就占了绝大的多数。
The Lavalwa technique is a distinctive type of stone knapping developed during the Middle Paleolithic. It marked a milestone in human evolution.
We found a whole range of stone tools dating to around 300,000 years, which is quite critical. So far from 2017 to 2023, when the project has been going on, we have recovered over 5,000 heritage objects in terms of stone tools, in terms of fossils. This heritage is not just for one country. This is heritage that informs us of who we are and where we come from. This will help us write new chapters of human development.
In their pursuit of tracing human origins, Chinese and Kenyan archaeologists have forged a strong bond. In July 2024, Kabii and his 3 colleagues were invited to China's Hunan to discuss further cooperation. On July 24, the Hunan Provincial Administration of Cultural Heritage and the National Museums of Kenya signed a letter of intent for Paleolithic archaeological cooperation between 2024 and 2029. According to the agreement, in the next 5 years, the 2 sides will continue to collaborate in tracing the origins of human civilization.
We can even do better in terms of learning who we are as human beings, and we have a shared destiny. And this is the spirit that has inspired the project we are doing in Kenya.
President Xi Jinping has emphasized on many occasions the importance of people-to-people and cultural exchanges. He said that the foundation and lifeline of China-Africa relations lie with the people. Therefore, the growth of China-Africa relations should be more people-oriented. Over the years, people-to-people and cultural exchanges between China and African countries have kept expanding. Vibrant people-to-people and cultural exchanges have enhanced the empathy between Chinese and African peoples and injected fresh vitality and momentum into China-Africa cooperation in the new era. In July 2016, a rocket shell hit a Chinese peacekeeping armored vehicle during a mission to guard a refugee camp in Juba. South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, has been facing persistent challenges to peace and security since gaining independence in 2011. In July 2016, an armed conflict broke out in Juba between government and opposition forces. The Chinese Infantry Battalion, together with peacekeepers from other countries, was responsible for protecting civilians in downtown Juba and over 100 surrounding villages.
就当时把李磊、杨志鹏他们两个重伤员迅速的第一时间转送到我们的后方医院，其他轻症员随后陆续的转送回去了。
On that day, Chinese peacekeepers Li Lei and Yang Shupeng sacrificed their lives in the line of duty.
当时内心里，我们所有一线的同志非常的痛心，自己战友牺牲了，感觉接受不了。但同时呢，你又顾不上，因为你还要去执行风控任务，外头正在交火，榴弹还在头顶上，嗖嗖的过。
Up to now, China has dispatched over 50,000 peacekeepers to nearly 30 UN peacekeeping missions, becoming the largest troop-contributing country among the permanent members of the UN Security Council. They have fulfilled missions to protect lives and safeguard peace.
我们是中国军人，我们国家随着发展不断的实力的变大，那么我们有义务为世界的和平去贡献力量，把整个世界让它更美好一些。
They're doing an excellent job and one that is extremely beneficial to the country and to the population of South Sudan. The population count on the peacekeepers, they count on the peacekeepers from China.
Peacekeepers are our good friends. They only brought us daily necessities, books and sanitaries, but also taught us knowledge and skills, making our lives full of hope.
Chinese are our friends as South Sudanese, and hopefully we will cooperate in many things.
Without security and stability, there could hardly be development. At the FOCAC Beijing Summit in September 2018, China announced the launch of a China-Africa Peace and Security Initiative. As a constructive participant in peace and security affairs in Africa, China has always championed the principle of African peoples solving African issues in their own ways. China-Africa cooperation on peace and security has been steadily expanding. In August 2023, President Xi Jinping delivered a keynote speech at the China-Africa Leaders Dialogue and urged China and Africa to join hands for modernization. Nowadays, under the principles of sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith, China and Africa are making joint efforts to advance the great endeavors of win-win cooperation, harmonious coexistence, and the shared prosperity of civilizations.
中非双方将进一步发扬传统友好，深化团结协作，促进各领域合作蓬勃发展。中非携手推进现代化事业，必将为双方人民创造更加美好的未来，为推动构建人类命运共同体树立典范。